Hi, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. My name is Lexi, and today we are going to spend about 10 minutes just kind of getting to know each other and maybe exploring why you came to see me.
Okay.
I do want to remind you that everything that you say is a safe place here and it stays in this session. Unless you disclose that you plan on to harm yourself or somebody else, that is something I have to disclose.
hmm Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's start easy. What brings you in here today?
Yeah. So I recently started a new position. I was with my old agency for about 4 years um, as a counselor, and I've had a lot of changes in terms of supervisors in 4 years. I had four supervisors in 4 years, and a lot of stress. Um, and it was closer to home, so it was great. Um, Allowed me to flex my time as needed to be able to come home and deal with my son, and closer and easier for my wife, and like allowed that. So a little family first. Um, However, I was getting very burnt out and stressed, and I needed a break.
Hmm.
So I took a new position as a counselor in a smaller clinic, but the commute is 30 minutes, so it's a lot longer. Um, and it is not allowing me the flexibility of what I had before. So it's putting a lot of pressure on my wife and not allowing me to like be there as much for my kid, which is something that I have enjoyed for the last 4 years. So
Hmm.
with him being four, and it's been nice.
Hmm.
Um, I that whole thought of like, did I make the right decision? It's just a lot to take on, and the burden of relying on uh, someone else to do things while you're doing work. So it's a lot.
So it sounds like I'm hearing you say that you left a position because of the personal stress, but now this new position has just placed stress somewhere else in your life, and that's causing you maybe some guilt or some second guessing on the decision that you've made.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know that it, like, professionally, it is better because it will allow me to do my clinical internship there, which is great. But it's you know doing that and having to depend on someone else to do a lot of stuff around the house and take care of the kid, and it's hard.
So you're feeling like maybe some like guilt and like your marriage is the weight of home. It's not maybe so even as you would like it to be or it used to be.
Right. Absolutely. And it's hard to like um bear that, I guess.
Hmm. How has that affected your relationship since that has happened?
um I feel it's struggled a little bit from time to time.
Mhm.
um but I mean, we talk about it, but not as much.
Mhm.
Sorry, out of my face. Thank you. um yeah.
Do you see any effects like within your relationship with your child? And if so, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not as present at times because when I come home, it's like I got that time to like decompress a little bit, and I'm not as present with him. So it's the weekends, obviously, you can see as he came up, he wants to be around. So it's more of like begging for the attention. So it's a
Mhm.
little difficult.
Okay. And how would you say this has been affecting you personally?
Um, it has, hmm, that's a good question. Um, I feel like it has made me understand of things that I'm looking for in terms of where I want to be versus where I am now, I guess. um, and that in time things will come,
Hmm.
but I'm more of like an instant gratification kind of person.
Hmm. Yes.
So yeah.
So overall, it sounds like a lot of this um, guilt comes from the fact that you are a caring and devoted husband and father, but you're also displaying a lot of resiliency, understanding, and finding motivation from this and goals and aspirations. And I think that those are uh, very admirable traits of you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you think further on this, do you see any balance in the weight on, the old job affected you this much and this new job is affecting you this much, or is it feeling pretty like it's the same level of stress, just in a different area?
um I think the old job was a lot more stressful
Hmm.
than this new one, professionally, and I feel like I took a lot out on my family with the stress with my old one than I do this one.
Hmm.
um, but I felt more, I don't want to say like needed at the old job, but I felt like people, well, I want to say needed, like people came to me with questions more so than they do at this one because it's a smaller agency. And there is a lot more support and guidance at this one where people don't feel like they need to come to me versus the old one where everyone was coming because there wasn't that.
Hmm.
So it's like feeling valued and needed versus like not having that feeling anymore.
Hmm.
um, so it kind of plays with your mind a little bit in terms of like second guessing if you're doing the
Hmm.
right thing a little bit. um, I feel like so.
Yeah, I hear that, it sounds like you're saying that the calmness of this new environment and not your coworkers having the dire need for someone to reach out and help them has just left you with this kind of empty space, this empty void. Since a smaller agency, it seems people kind of have their P's and Q's in a little more order and don't have that grasping need for
Yeah,
someone to help.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that definitely absolutely could weigh on somebody's mind, when we go from so long being the person with the answers, to nobody needing our answers. That's
Yeah,
hard. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's where I'm like, okay, what do I do?
Uh,
So
do you see other ways that you are useful at your current position? That maybe it's not so much that direct support to your coworkers, but do you see other ways that you are a valuable person at that job?
yeah, they yes, I feel it's a more of a collaborative approach,
Mhm.
which is huge, right? Um, so I feel that I don't have to be like micromanaged,
Mhm.
as I did in the bigger one, the bigger agency at my old place. So like it's more of a positive and like welcoming atmosphere where it
Mhm.
kind of was like, oh, this is great. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what are what are your hopes in coming here and kind of talking about this and hashing it out? What are you hoping to find yourself doing?
um not placing as much blame or guilt on myself,
Hmm.
um and being able to um understand, I guess, a little bit in terms of like how my decisions, as minimal that they can be at times, can play a factor in affecting other people on a much larger scale, I guess. Um, Even though that I don't see them as like a large impact, they are.
Mm, okay. So I hear you would like to focus on kind of coping and processing with how your actions and your career and your education impact those around you.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Um, how do you feel about diving into that? Is that something that causes you anxiety or does that bring you excitement? What do you feel when you think about that?
I'm more of a guarded person in general, so it's kind of hard to do. Um, I kind of like to deflect and like say things are fine and sweep them under the rug. Um, but I'm open to it. So
So you are stepping out of your comfort zone to come here and talk about these things today.
yes.
Well, that is very commendable. And on that note, I think we should, be taking this process, at a slower pace, so that we are not pushing your guard down too fast and putting you in any sort of defense or flight modes. So how do you feel about maybe spending the next week reflecting on how this conversation made you feel, and what are some goals that you have in opening up further about this next week, and then we can really start, diving in on those coping strategies and those reflections and processing when it comes to the effects of your career and your education on those around you.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, perfect. So don't stress too much about that little homework assignment. It is supposed to be helpful, not harmful. And with that being said, we'll see each other next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.